This is Mike with SS Custom Fabrication, and today we're going to do a quick informative video on how to install the SS Custom Fabrication Radiator Relocation Kit on the new series of Honda four-wheelers. In 2020, the Honda 420, the Honda Foreman, which is now a 520 Foreman, and the Honda Rubicon, which is now a 520 Rubicon, they have changed. What changed is this rack system mainly, and the plastics. They still have the same radiator. So the radiator from 14 all the way up to now, it is the same radiator, but they changed these racks, and I notice other manufacturers selling kits that fit 14 through 19, and they're selling them saying they fit the new 20 model. Well, you could probably make it fit on there, but I don't want to sell you something you got to make fit on there. I've designed a kit that fits this four-wheeler. And the great thing about it is we're not going to have to drill the plastics on this. We're not going to have to cut anything off your four-wheeler or anything off of your fan cradle. Like on some of them, the kits are narrow enough that they want you to cut pieces off of there. Once this kit is on your four-wheeler, if you ever want to go back to stock and take it off, everything will still be there to put it back stock. No cutting, no holes, no nothing. So when you get ready to do this, the first thing you want to do is naturally make sure your four-wheeler is not hot, because you're going to be messing with coolant. Number two, jack it up and take both front tires off, put it on some jack stands, and make sure it's good and stable before you work on it. And we're going to go into a video here shortly and show the radiator already removed. I'm not going to do a removal video because it is fairly straightforward, but we'll show you what you need to know with the radiator removed from the four-wheeler. Okay, here are some of the tools that you are going to need when you remove your radiator and install your new SS Custom Fabrication Radiator Relocation Kit. First off, you're going to need a 1/2-inch wrench. You're going to need 2 flat blade screwdrivers. If you've got push pin pliers, that would be nice also. We've got a set of wire cutters here, which we're just going to use that to cut zip ties. Needle nose pliers, those are going to help assist in getting some of those push pins out. If you've got power steering, you're going to need a tape measure, because I told you we're not going to drill anything on this kit. We do have one little tiny hole that we can drill with about a 5/16 drill bit in the plastic cover, but I'll get to that later on. You need a 1/4-inch ratchet, and I like using 1/4-inch because it's just easier for this size. You get to using a 3/8 or something, you kind of tend to want to put too much torque on it. We don't want to break any bolts. Need an extension. You're going to need a 1/2-inch socket, a 5/16 socket, a 12mm socket, a 10mm socket, and also a 6mm socket. Now you notice there's not a hole saw here. It's because we're not we're not going to put any holes in your four-wheeler, and I think that's pretty important. Like I stated before, and I'll state it again, if you ever want to pull this kit off and put your four-wheeler back stock, you will have the capability of doing that with this kit. Okay, here we are with our 2020 Honda 520 Rubicon. And as you can see, we are on the left side of the machine. As you can also see, the radiator has been removed. It was behind a plastic shroud here that had some push pins in it. We removed it, and we will not reuse it or any of the push pins. You can see there's been a winch mounted in this four-wheeler, and it's not going to complicate or cause any issues with the removal or the install. Now I want to bring attention to this bolt right here. It is 12 millimeter socket fits this bolt. And we're going to have to remove this bolt and install a bracket here later to relocate your coolant recovery bottle. Now here, if you can see these two holes, that's where the bottom of the radiator was installed. There were grommets in these holes. You're going to want to remove these grommets and install them in the faceplate of your rad kit. Up here we have where the top portion of the radiator was mounted. This is was secured with a 10 millimeter. You use a 10 millimeter socket to remove this bolt, and we want to save it because we're going to reuse it. There'll be a bracket that goes here that also helps you relocate your coolant overflow bottle. And this piece that's dangling down over here, this particular four-wheeler has power steering. If you don't have power steering, you will not have this module right here. Now, it's on a pretty short piece of wire. It was originally attached on the plastic shroud that was on the other side of the four-wheeler. And by removing the radiator and removing the shroud, there's really nowhere to put this. So we are going to relocate it also. And this is going to be part of that relocate. You're going to need a 10 millimeter socket for this also. Now, this is where the radiator hose came through in the original configuration. And once we relocate the coolant bottle and this power steering module, we're going to have to move this hose to the outside right here. And you don't have to worry about any interference with the shock or anything. It's all linear motion, nothing's going in, so you won't have to worry about that hose. We'll just zip tie it right here. And I guess that's about it. Here's your fan wire. Don't let me leave that out. Here's your fan wire, and your fan wire, it's going to feed up through here. I'll show you that when we get further along in the video, but that's pretty much it. Okay, here are the parts you're going to remove to install your new radiator relocation kit on your four-wheeler. First off, and this is going to come off first, you've got these two plastic side pieces, one on the right and one on the left. These are attached by push pins. Here are the push pins. There's a few bolts also. The bolts are actually on the right side, and they're associated with this unit right here. This little unit is a plastic cover that covers your control module for your power steering. If you don't have power steering, just forget about this this right here, because you won't have that. This is an air deflector that's in the front. Once you get the radiator and these pieces out, it'll slide right out. Here is your radiator, and if you notice, I wanted to show you this. Right here on this radiator, on this fan motor, there is this little nipple right here, and this length of red hose is attached there, and that's so that no water gets in your motor, but your motor can still breathe. And once you relocate your radiator, you're not going to need this long hose anymore. What you need to do is just cut a little bit of it off and leave a 2 or 3 inch piece on it, but you don't have to leave the whole section. Now, you're going to reuse these. These are the grommets that came out of the frame that the bottom of your radiator was mounted in. We're going to put those in the faceplate of your kit. Here are the two original hose clamps that went on the radiator, and that's exactly where we're going to place them. When we install this, we're going to put the original clamps back on the original location on the radiator. And these are the two 10 millimeter bolts, or they've got a 10 millimeter head, that attach this radiator into the frame. We are going to reuse one of these bolts. Now, with all this being said, like I've mentioned before, we're not going to have to drill any major plastics on your four-wheeler to install this kit. So it would probably be best to the items here that we're not going to use, just put them up and keep them. That way if you decide to sell the four-wheeler one day, and you know, they do have a higher resale if they ain't got a radiator relocation kit on them. And this will allow you to put it back stock and no one will know the difference. 1, 2. When you purchase a radiator relocation kit from SS Custom Fabrication, these are all the items will be supplied in your kit. I get questions from time to time, does it come with everything? Yes, it comes with everything other than the want to install it and the paint. So they're supplied in clean bare steel. And I do that because it's quicker for me to get them out to you. You can pick the color. If you scratch it up, you can touch it up because you've got the particular color you painted it with. Everybody's been pretty happy with it, and like I say, it helps me get them out faster to you because I know when I pay for something, I want it now. I don't want to have to wait on it. Now, all the kits that we sell, all those kits are in stock, ready to ship. Keep that in mind. We ship the next day after payment's made. And I'm going to go over some of the stuff that's in the kit. Here's your U-bolts. There's your hose barbs. As we mentioned, this kit doesn't require you to drill holes in your front plastic. That's why you see an extra hose barb, and that's why you see some extra hose clamps here. These are your spacers that attach your radiator to the side plates, the bolts that attach the face plate to the side plates. These brackets and bolts and this washer here we'll show later in another video after it's installed. These are going to allow you to relocate your coolant recovery bottle. The wires and the butt splices, you probably won't need them. Your wire is going to be long enough, but by chance it is not long enough. That's why these are supplied. Now this piece of hose right here is 2 inches long, and I'll explain that in a later clip, but this right here will come to you already cut 2 inches. You'll get about 46 inches of this hose. After the install is done, you're going to have hose left over. And the hose that you have left over, you can take it and cut it in short pieces like this, split it, and use it as softeners. And I will show that in an upcoming segment. This is your hose to reattach your radiator overflow to your coolant recovery bottle. 1, 2. Okay, here we have the kit painted and assembled, and we have your radiator installed in it. Now notice down here the grommets that we spoke about earlier. These grommets were removed from the frame and they've been installed in the lower part of the faceplate on this kit. If you look up here, the spacers and the bolts, if you'll notice, these are not quite perpendicular to the side plates, and that is totally fine. When these are tightened up, it forces this radiator down into these grommets and keeps everything really tight and really secure. So it is totally okay. When you tighten these up, tighten them good, but I mean, don't over tighten them and break them. Now, a very important part here is, now is the time to install this hose. The 2-inch piece of hose that I told you would be supplied in the kit is right here. And when you install this, you can use a flat blade screwdriver, but it's best to use a small 1/4-inch ratchet, and you can get them tight. Now don't over tighten them. Over tighten them will just pinch the hose, maybe bust the clamp. Just get them good and snug and secure. And then install the one long piece of hose that I supply you in the kit. Install the whole piece, do not cut it. Install it right here like so. 1, 2. Okay, I almost forgot to tell you all about this. If you do have a four-wheeler with power steering, this cover right here covers your electronic control module. Now, like we stated earlier, This is attached to those side plates on each side of the radiator, and when those are removed, you don't have anywhere to attach this. So we have come up with a way that you can reattach it, but it requires you to drill a hole right here in this corner, and we're looking at 5/8 of an inch down and 7/8 of an inch over from this edge. Now that hole can be 1/4, 5/16. If you're not good at lining it up, it's not going to hurt anything if you put a 3/8 hole in it, because we're going to have another bracket that lays over the top of that, and that will get this module remounted. I want to come back and show you down here. This will simplify a lot of things for you. This 12 millimeter, this bolt with the 12 millimeter head on it that I told you we were going to have to remove. See, we removed it, and there's a straight bracket that's in the kit. That's where you'll put this bracket. If you notice, one end of this had a round hole in it. That goes here. The other end had a square hole, and that's for the carriage bolt that goes in the back side of this. Up here, you're going to receive this bracket. It's got a bend on each end, a little offset. Your 10 millimeter, well, the bolt with that you use the 10 millimeter socket to remove. This is the bolt that originally held the radiator in. The hole you drilled for your power steering relocate in the little cover, that's what this piece here is. It is laid in here, and you line it up with the hole and put the bracket on too. So you've got the bracket and this piece now going where the radiator was originally fastened. If you remember earlier, I said we're going to have to swap the hose. This hose used to be inside this piece of frame rail right here. Now it's on the outside. We've got it zip tied secure. 90-degree elbow goes here to go up to the upper portion of the radiator. Here's your coolant recovery tank that is relocated with the brackets we were just discussing. Keep in mind that when you're tightening these bolts and this bolt, don't over tighten them and get them too tight. Now this one you can put some force on it, but you don't really want to over tighten these. Those are nylon lock nuts, as are everything that comes with the kit. But you don't want to over tighten these because it'll just bust the plastic. It's pretty secure and it's not going anywhere. We've got the other hoses zip tied to the neck of the bottle, and you can still access this bottle from the top of the four-wheeler up there, kind of in the original location that you accessed the radiator. And I guess that's about it. Well, let me show you this. Right here, the bolt, the 10 millimeter socket that we used to remove this bolt right here, where your brake block is, we remove that bolt. And this piece of plastic here, this is on your original cover, same cover here, that has your power steering module in it. This now bolts here. And that relocates, secures your power steering module. Now, when you do install this kit, and you fill it back up with coolant, and you decide to start your four-wheeler up, if by chance you start it up, you're sitting there watching it, let it run, make sure everything warms up and works. If by chance your temperature light comes on, turn the four-wheeler off, let it cool off. Let it cool all the way down, because I don't want you to get burnt fooling with it. But the reason it would do that, and it happens occasionally, is you can get an air bubble in the system. And if that air bubble is where the water pump is, basically a water pump won't pump air. It just pumps water. So if there's an air bubble trapped where the pump impeller is, it's not going to pump. If that happens, after it's cooled completely off, come back under here, loosen up one of these fittings. You can do it on both. It's best to do it on both sides. Loosen it up, break the hose loose, and when you get coolant coming out, you won't probably realize the air is coming out, but once coolant starts coming out, tighten it back up. Do it on both sides, on the straight fitting on the other side, and this 90 right here. Seal everything back up tight, and top it back off with coolant, and that should solve your problem. Okay, we've got the kit installed and I wanted to show you a few things. First off, this pink hose, if you remember, this pink hose was the hose attached for the vent for the motor on the cooling fan. Well, we're using this now for the vent on the relocated coolant recovery bottle. It's just a vent, no liquid, no anything in it, so it works great for that, and it's plenty long. The hose on the left side of the machine is going to get one 90-degree fitting, and when we go to another view you'll be able to see that fitting. Now this hose on the right side of the machine that goes to the lower radiator, we used a straight on this side, and when we go to the other view you'll be able to see that. So you've got 190 on the left, a 90, and a straight on the right. As you can see, the fan wires were long enough to hook up. There is wire and splices in the kit in case you decide that it's not long enough. And here on the sides, if you notice, these bolts that bolt it down, as you can see, these are a little tricky to get in there, but it's a U-bolt with a top plate slid through the hole. And on the inside, there's another set of U-bolts at the rear that are completely hidden from the outside. Now, you don't have to do this, but since this particular four-wheeler had this high lifter snorkel on it, it kind of interfered with putting the kit on. So what we did was we put some, you're going to have 6 or 8 inches of hose left over. So what we did is we cut some short pieces and split them, and we put them over the rack and then attached the radiator kit down to it. And what that does is it does several things. It gets it up on the level of this, and it kind of creates a cushion so your rack isn't all scratched up if in the event you do decide to remove the kit at a later date. Alright folks, we're at the end of the road here. The kit's installed. Everything's neat and tidy, zip tied up. Nothing's going to get snagged or pulled off or anything. It's all looking good. Now this kit is what I'm referring to it as our no drill kit. This is the first one of these we've ever made, and I know I've mentioned it several times already, but just to show you what makes this different from our other kits is it's a little taller in the front. It's laid back a little bit further to give you better visibility up here. It's just barely taller than the headlight. And the greatest part about it is, like I've said before, we don't have to drill any plastics. So that's a real good thing, I think. It's especially easier because most people have the hand tools mentioned to install this kit, but not everybody has a hole saw laying around, and not everybody wants to cut up a high-dollar four-wheeler brand new and put holes in it. This way, I guess if you had a dealership that didn't want you putting one on there, they always know you've had one on it because you've had to drill the plastic. Actually, I guess you could put this on there, and if it needed to go into the dealership, you could take it off and put it back like it was. I'm not telling you to do that, but hint, hint, I guess you could get away with that. Now, if you do that, I'm going to tell you, put these on here like we showed you earlier to keep from scratching the rack up and making it completely obvious that you had some sort of radiator relocation kit on it. But anyhow, that's it. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope you don't have any problems installing your kit. If you do have any issues or any problems, you can give me a call. If you would like to buy a kit, you can give me a call. You can email me. Now just be aware I don't check my emails every day. I got kind of too much going on and I hate email. Call me or text me, but I will check the emails occasionally. I also do custom kits. The custom kits cost a little bit more, and the price depends on the complexity of the design and how much time I have in them. But I want you to know that when I do a custom kit, after it's paid for, that kit will be shipped within 10 days. So you're going to get your kit pretty quick. I have people tell me all the time, hey, I don't need it, for till next month or something like that. And I tell them, look, I'm going to go ahead and get it built because I might get calls for 2 more. And I don't want to get behind. So when you order a custom one, I ship it out. The rest of the kits are in stock, on the shelf, and when you order those kits, I ship them the next business day after they're paid for. And I ship UPS ground, so you're looking at, if you're in a neighboring state, you're probably going to get it the next day. If you're in Florida, North, South Carolina, those are usually 3 to 5 days, just depending on how far back in the woods you live. But anyhow, that'll wrap it up. If y'all got any questions, like I said, call me or email me. Thank you. Are we rolling? This is Mike with SS Custom Fabrication, and today we're going to do a quick, informative video on how to install. Shit!
Yeah, just stay with it, man. Just keep going.
And Rubicon 520s. Take two. Shit, that's wrong. Hey, man, I'm telling you, I was up all. It is pretty simple. As you saw in the earlier clips, there's not very many tools involved. Just take your time and you can get it done pretty easily. Damn it, turn it off. Keep it simple, stupid.